It began like any other day. Kayla, a quiet woman in her early 30s, lived alone in a small, cozy house at the edge of a forest. She shared her life with her loyal companion, Luna, a sleek black cat with piercing green eyes. Luna was independent and curious, often disappearing into the woods for hours, but always returning home by sunset. One evening, however, Luna returned with something strange. As Kayla sat on her porch, sipping tea, she noticed Luna approaching with something clamped in her jaws. At first, Kayla assumed it was a stick or a small animal, a typical gift from a hunting cat. But as Luna dropped it at her feet, Kayla's stomach churned. It was a bone. The bone was small, weathered, and unnervingly human-like. Kayla brushed off her unease, convincing herself it must have been from an animal. She discarded it, thanked Luna, and thought little of it. But the next day it happened again, and then again. Each time, Luna brought a similar bone, small, brittle, and unnervingly consistent. By the fourth day, Kayla couldn't ignore the growing knot in her stomach. Where was Luna finding these bones? Kayla decided to follow her. That night, after dinner, she slipped on a coat and sturdy boots, grabbed a flashlight, and waited for Luna to make her usual exit into the woods. As Luna darted into the darkness, Kayla followed at a cautious distance, the beam of her flashlight bouncing across the underbrush. The forest was eerily silent, save for the occasional rustle of leaves or the hoot of an owl. Luna moved with purpose, weaving through trees and bushes as though she knew exactly where she was going. Kayla stumbled after her, her heart pounding louder with each step. After what felt like hours, Luna finally stopped in a small clearing. The cat began pawing at the ground, meowing insistently. Kayla approached slowly, her flashlight illuminating the spot Luna had chosen. Her breath caught in her throat. The soil was disturbed, as though someone had recently dug there. Kayla hesitated, her mind racing. Finally, she knelt and began to dig with her hands. The earth was loose, crumbling easily under her fingers. After a few minutes, her hand struck something solid. It was a skull. Kayla recoiled, stumbling backward. The skull was unmistakably human, its hollow eye sockets staring back at her. Panic surged through her. But before she could retreat, something caught her eye, a piece of fabric protruding from the soil. Gathering her courage, Kayla pulled at the fabric, uncovering a decayed but intact piece of clothing. There were more bones beneath it, arranged in a disturbingly orderly fashion. It was a human skeleton. Kayla staggered to her feet, her heart racing. She fumbled for her phone and called the police. The authorities arrived quickly, the flashing lights of their cars casting an ominous glow through the forest. The site was cordoned off, and forensic teams began their work. Kayla stood to the side, clutching Luna, who purred as though nothing was amiss. The police thanked her for reporting the discovery, but the officer in charge gave her a grim warning. "This is an old case," he said, "decades old. We'll investigate, but there may be people who don't want this truth coming to light." Kayla didn't sleep that night. The next morning, a detective visited her home. His name was Detective Harris, a grizzled man with sharp eyes and a quiet demeanor. He explained that the bones likely belonged to a young woman reported missing nearly 30 years ago. The case had gone cold, but now, with this discovery, they had a chance to uncover the truth. Kayla shared everything she knew, including Luna's strange behavior. Harris listened carefully, his expression grave. Days turned into weeks, and the story of the discovered skeleton made headlines in the small town. Kayla became the reluctant center of attention, her quiet life disrupted by reporters and curious neighbors. She tried to stay out of the spotlight, but strange things began happening. One night, Kayla returned home to find her front door ajar. Inside, nothing seemed out of place, but the unease lingered. Another time, she noticed a car parked near her house for hours, its driver obscured by tinted windows. The final straw came when Kayla found a note slipped under her door. The message was simple but chilling. "Stay out of it." Terrified, Kayla called Detective Harris. He assured her that she was safe, but advised her to be cautious. Harris's investigation revealed that the missing woman, identified as Emily Clark, had worked as a maid for a wealthy family in the area. She had vanished under mysterious circumstances, and rumors had swirled about an affair gone wrong or a jealous rival. As more details emerged, Kayla realized the implications of Luna's discovery. Someone had gone to great lengths to bury the truth, and now that truth was resurfacing. One evening, Luna disappeared again. Kayla's heart sank. Despite her fear, she ventured into the woods, retracing the path they had taken weeks ago. This time, Luna led her to a different spot. Kayla's flashlight illuminated another disturbed patch of soil. Her pulse quickened as she began to dig, uncovering another grisly find, a second skeleton, smaller than the first. When the police arrived, Harris's expression was grim. "This changes everything," he said. The second skeleton belonged to a child. Forensic analysis suggested it was Emily's son, who had also been reported missing but was presumed to have been taken by relatives. The discovery sent shockwaves through the community. The once wealthy family Emily had worked for came under intense scrutiny. Rumors of abuse, cover-ups, and corruption resurfaced, painting a damning picture of the town's elite. Kayla's role in the investigation made her a target. Late one night, her home was vandalized. The words, "Mind your business," scrawled across her front door in red paint. But Kayla refused to back down. With Harris's support, she began piecing together Emily's story, speaking to former employees, distant relatives, and anyone who might hold a clue. Slowly, a horrifying truth emerged. Emily had uncovered dark secrets about her employers, secrets they were willing to kill to protect. As the investigation reached its climax, an arrest was made. The head of the family, now an elderly man, was charged with murder and conspiracy. His confession revealed a decades-long cover-up involving bribery, intimidation, and even false evidence planted to mislead investigators. The case closed, but the scars remained. Kayla stood in her yard, watching Luna bask in the sunlight. The cat's uncanny instincts had brought justice to a family long forgotten, exposing truths that many wanted to keep buried. As Kayla reflected on the ordeal, she realized that her quiet life would never be the same. But she also knew that, thanks to Luna, the dead could finally rest, and the living could begin to heal.